I'm Ray Muzica. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at BioWare Corp, and we're going to be talking about Mass Effect.
And I'm Greg Zestruk, President of BioWare Corp.
So Mass Effect is basically an evolution of everything BioWare's learned over the past decade developing great games. It's got amazing stories and characters and deep customization and compelling action combat, and awesome universe to explore, the universe of Mass Effect. And it's all about building emotional depth and intensity and really just grabbing the player and not letting them down. And it's got a seamless blend between the seamless flow between the action and the storyline.
I think the other thing about Mass Effect that's really amazing is that it really just flows very easily. Like it's the kind of game where you can really just pick up and play it. We have a revolutionary new dialogue system that allows you not to really sort of have to stop and wait for dialogue, but instead literally play it. You decide when you're going to interrupt, you decide what you're going to say and when you're going to say it.
Besides, Commander, insults won't get you the info you need.
And that goes into these really just amazingly well-done cutscenes that show and advance the story. And then also some really fun combat. Kind of combat that, you're using cover, you're ducking behind it, you're using special powers called tech or biotic powers. Or, if you are the kind of player that likes a little more of a slower, more thoughtful experience, you can actually pause the action and decide where you and your squad mates go, and also what you're going to do, when you're going to target enemies, that sort of thing. So it's a really broad game that should appeal to a lot of people.
200 years in the future, you're Commander Shepard. You're a veteran of the Alliance military. You're a member of the Spectre Order. It's an elite military group charged with protecting the galaxy at all costs. So you got to sometimes do the wrong thing to get the right outcome. And you're the tip of the spear of humanity on the galactic stage. So your actions are going to have consequences which really impact the ending of the game is going to be different. The way humanity is viewed, plus the way your own progression through the game is going to be affected a lot by the choices you make. There's going to be consequences to your choices.
We created this iconic persona of Captain Shepard, but the character itself, we do actually recommend what we call the iconic Shepard, the one we sort of visualize in our minds. But the player is really able to even configure that one, and sort of say, hey, who are you, where are you from, what's your background? There's different types of classes in the game, and the classes allow dictate what talents you have. And talents are things like the ability to use heavier and heavier armor, or use bigger guns, or use tech powers like electronics, and the idea is that you can customize all those aspects of your character and use the original sort of visual representation, or you literally can go in and just create who you want. We have a very advanced system that creates these incredibly realistic faces, and you can adjust the dials and get just what you want. So it gives the player a lot of flexibility in how they want to play the game. Commander Shepard can be male or female. It doesn't have to be a male character, and the game unfolds differently depending on the background you've chosen, and certainly very differently on the classes, because you can do certain things and can't do other things. So a lot of variety in what the players can do.
So the great thing about Mass Effect is you can play the game different ways. There's different layers of accessibility depending on what mood you're in, what kind of player you are, whether you like traditional RPGs or whether you like more action-based games. So that's true in dialogue, it's true in combat as well. In dialogue, you might always navigate towards the I'm going to be a badass today kind of option, or you might be I'm going to be noble and choose that option most of the time. Or you can also in between them and really think about what choices you want to make. It's up to you, and it's incredibly intuitive and very accessible as a result. The same is true in combat. In combat, you can play it maybe in 3 different ways. There's controlling your main character as a third-person action game in combat, but you have smart AI. They act autonomously, and they'll move through the battlefield, and they'll use their talents, their biotic powers, their weapons in really intelligent ways to support you on the battlefield. Another layer below that is to use the squad command interface to tell them where you want them to go, what you want them to target. And you're still controlling your main character. And a third layer of depth, as things get really hairy, you can actually use the squad command interface to assign specific actions to your party members and then target very, very carefully, micromanaging every single aspect in pause mode. So it's got that whole range. If you want to play it in turn-based mode, you can, or you can play it all in real time if you want. And it's kind of point and shoot. Just choose the action you want, fire it off, and move on. Or there's a middle ground as well, and you can choose between them depending on what mood you are, what kind of player you are. So Mass Effect is coming really soon. The team's working hard. They're making a great game in the classic BioWare tradition for our fans.